All right, it's Sunday after Dyno Friday. Thanks to Steve at Powerhouse on the Gold Coast for having us again on the Dyno, taking his time out. We did a few pulls and I couldn't do what we do without him, so thanks mate, appreciate that, and Powerhouse. First pull of the day, met that up there about 9 o'clock, 9:30 I think, first pull, good air, 20.28 horsepower, so the best horsepower we've made with 50 on the dyno chart anyway. Made max horsepower at 13.6, EGTs 950, air H2O 98, rev to 14,000 clean, no dramas at all. After that pull, we thought, we'll richen it up just to check that we're in the sweet spot with the jetting. We thought we were pretty close, and we pulled it again, 19.8 horsepower on a richer jet. But only made horsepower to 13.2 on the chart and fell away, and it was a bit weird, we thought. Rev to 14 again, so we thought, let's put some ignition in it while it's fat and see what happens. Same thing again, 13.1 fell away this time, made 20.2 horsepower, so it liked the ignition, but we need to make power to 14. We can't make power at 13. We won't pull the gearing, and the torque hasn't got enough torque to pull the big gearing down that low, so we need RPM and horsepower. So went back to our original setup. Our first pull, same thing again, 13.2, sort of horsepower fell off, way off, it's making a nice curve and then just falls off a cliff. So we didn't quite know what was going on there. We thought, we did a couple other pulls, just try different things, but nothing reacted. So we thought, let's put a new barrel and piston ring in it just to check that we haven't got a worn ring or something funny. It's a bit hard on the dyno. You're busy, it's hot, it's a busy day. A nervous anticipation of every pull, keeping it together. And you got a lot going through your head, what you need to do next, and the system's in place. So we put a new top end on it. It was mid-afternoon by then, after lunch and rebuilding it. Pull it again. Still fell off the cliff, so decided to pack it up and bring it home. In saying that, when I'm saying fall off a cliff, I mean it's gone from 20 and a half to 19 horsepower. So we're losing a horsepower and a half, but we've lost 800 RPM. So I've pulled it all apart. All looks pretty good. I've got both pistons out of it now because we've put two top ends on it, but it's got a little bit of wear on the shoulder on this piston through the Teflon for the coating, whatever they use. The top's brand new, so the head's brand new, barrel's brand new, so all looks pretty good. The pin's had a little bit of heat. You can see got a bit of discoloration on the pin, but it's smooth. There's no ridges. There's no wear marks on it, so it's had a bit of heat in it. All looks pretty good. So we slept on it, as you need to do sometimes. Just have a rest and think about it. And in the morning, talk to Dad, and he thinks, or we've sort of had a chat, and the best thing we can think now, it's some sort of fuel issue above 13.2, and we think maybe it's the reed cage is the culprit. It did pull great on the first run to 14, and the chart was lovely. It made horsepower all the way to that 20.2. But who's saying that? Well, firstly, we throw a lot of methanol and a lot of nitro at it, and that fuel's heavier than gasoline for a start. Plus, the amount of volume we're throwing at it is sort of 4 times what you would throw at one of these with gasoline. So we're throwing 4 times the fuel volume, plus we're throwing heavier fuel. So maybe the reed cage, when it gets up to 13.2 RPM, it's got to open and close, I think, about 150 times a second. Maybe it's just hasn't got the the elasticity to bounce back in time. So I've ordered this is a V-Force 3. They just brought out a 4, so I've ordered the new V-Force 4, and we'll get that, and we'll maybe give that a shot, and we think maybe that could be the culprit. We're going to need the bike to rev to 14 to get the record. We need 21 horsepower. It needs to rev to go to 103. So got one of these on the way, and we think maybe it's just that marginal. Maybe these reeds for the first pull, when they're cold, they're at their stiffest, or before they've been open and closed 200 times a second for a minute. Maybe they're at their best elasticity for the day, and as the day goes on, I did read an article on reed fatigue, and they do fatigue after a while. So maybe with the amount of fuel we're throwing at it and a bit of fatigue, we'll just not be able to close again at the high RPM. So that's where we're at. hopefully that's right. We're sort of going places, I guess, where people haven't gone. I've thought about trying to chase I know some of the snowmobile guys run a fair bit of methanol and probably run rig, so I'll get onto them on Facebook this weekend and see if anyone's got any answers. But not a lot of people throw the amount of fuel we do at it, because we've got to survive in the mile or 3 miles. We have to be really rich, so we throw a lot of fuel. So all our horsepower is really rich horsepower. So it's not lean power by any means. So that's where we're at. So hopefully Steve at Powerhouse will put up with us again a couple of times before America. Be good to get a nice chart to 21 horsepower and be comfortable going to Bonneville where we're at. See if we can get the job done. So thanks to everyone for your support and messages. It's a learning curve, hey? And if it was easy, you know what they say, everyone would be doing it. But hopefully we've got the answer there, and we can make the power and get the job done. Have a great weekend. Cheers.